This is the story of Neal, the Tard. Be in 5th grade. Be in AI class. It's like advanced shit for smart kids. The teacher decides it's a good idea for us to spend the day with the Tard kids because we're ahead of our schedule for the marking period. I'd never seen a Tard previous to this encounter, so I didn't know what to expect. Walk into the Tard HQ. It seems to be a regular classroom filled with ugly-ass kids. Everybody's assigned their own personal Tard to talk to. I get assigned Neal. I walk up to the Tard and say, "Hello, I'm Phil." "Hey, Pill." One fluid word. "Hey, Pill." He says this whenever he's in within 30 feet of me, and becomes my only warning of the inevitability of an incoming shitstorm. Sit down and see he's cutting paper. Ask him what he's making. "Melons." What? The Tard starts to make the screeching sound. The only thing I can compare it to is the sound of a fucking raptor. A fat downy Tard runs up to us. "Stop it!" Neal gets up and continues his raptor Tard roar directly in her face. Downy Tard goes batshit, engages Tard strength and flips over the entire table. Neal not only continues his Tard roar, but moves closer to the Downy child. Down Tard starts screaming and tries to run for the door, forgets to open it and smashes into it, head first. KO! Neal silences his roar, sits down and continues cutting the paper, as if nothing had happened. All of my what.jpg? Tard wranglers run in and retrieve Neal, and the Downy child. Both are sent home. After our fateful first encounter, I hadn't seen Neal for a while, so this story takes place about another 3 months after the previous story. Walking down the hall with our friends to lunch. Both talking about usual 5th grade shit, Pokemon and whatnot. Hear a faint but memorable voice. "Hey, Pill!" Don't answer. Pretend I heard nothing due to the events of last time. Hear the sound again, except this time it is directly in my ear. "Hey, Pill!" He had just appeared at my side. He had had to be at least 30 or so feet in the other direction previously. The speed will come into play in later encounters. Wave awkwardly to him. "Hey, Neal." He extends a bag of Cheetos he had in his hand in my general direction. "Want some?" "No thanks, Neal." My friend's not knowing about the kind of devastation Neal is capable of, reaches over and grabs one of the Cheetos out of the bag without asking. Neal looks up with pure malice. Oh fuck, not again. Neal approaches my friend, deliberately looking into his eyes. Engage raptor Tard roar. This one was in short bursts. It appears that he had different roars for different situations. Friend says, "What the hell's wrong with him?" Says nothing, as I do not want to feel Tard's wrath. Friend backs away as Neal approaches, chewing on the Cheeto. Neal lets out one last violent Tard roar and hurls himself at my friend, knocking him over. He jams his hand in my friend's mouth and retrieves the liquidy remnants of the Cheeto while continuing his Tard roar directly in his face. Stands up and eats liquidly half-eating Cheeto after silencing his roar. Tard Wrangler comes speeding down the hallway and grabs Neal by the wrist to pull him back to the Tard HQ. He waves at me. "Bye, Pill!" Not a single ounce of regret or any emotion for that matter in his eyes. I wave at him and utter in awe. "Bye, Neal." Neal Part 3, Battle of the Tards. You see, Neal mainly kept to himself. He did not like his Tard kind, but he extremely disliked one Tard named James. This is the first of their 3 battles that I saw. Be in 6th grade now. New AI teacher is a very avid Tard supporter. We are now going to help the Tards out once a week for the entire year. I enter the Tard HQ and see Neal in the corner. He hasn't grown an inch since last year. Turns out he remained 5 foot for the rest of his entire life. He looks as if he's in total concentration reading a book. I walk up to Neal. "Hey bud, what you reading?" He gives me one of those toothy Tard grins. "Hey Pill!" Sit next to him and look at the book. Dr. Seuss, The Cat in the Hat. A skinny, tall Tard walks over towards us. I could tell he was a dick from the moment I saw him. "What are you reading, Neal?" Snatches the book out of Neal's hand. "This book is for babies!" Neal gets up. "Give it back, James!" James holds it above his head. "Take it!" Neal's rage is apparent. It is that of 1,000 suns. Neal sounds his raptor Tard screech. This is slightly different from his roar. Its sole effect is enough to piss off the other Tards. "Stop it, Neal! Take your dumb book!" "Too late for that, bud." Neal continues to approach with his fist above his head as far as he can reach. Screech continues. At this point, Tard HQ is compromised. The Tards are going crazy. Crayons and shit has been thrown. One Tard has crawled into a ball in a puddle of piss. AI class is told to evacuate. I stay and watch the imminent lulls. James is now clenching his ears for dear life. Neal is finally within striking distance of James. He throws his mighty fist down into James' nuts with immaculate force of 1,000 banhammers. James drops and continues to throw up on the magic carpet. Neal silences the screech, picks up the book James had stolen from him, and sits down to read it, directly in James's puddle of throw-up. But why? .jpg? He looks up at me with his toothy grin, and I just stare. Tard Wranglers burst in. One grabs me to bring me to safety. The other grabs the delegated James and Neal. Neal screams after me, "Bye, Pill!" I just watch as he is hauled off to the principal's office, not giving a single bit of resistance. That day was known as N Day, up until the day I left for high school.